Hey guys, it's Megan, and in today's video, I'll be showing you a few easy paper crafts you can make this fall. I love doing these paper craft videos. It's always fun to come up with projects that use supplies that most people already have at home. If you're looking for more easy paper craft ideas, I'll make sure to link a playlist to my other ones down below. I've also made tons of recycled crafts for fall, so again, all the links will be down below. Pretty much, like, if you need any sort of crafts ever, I got you covered. So without further ado, let's just get into the video. The first project that I made this week was this origami mushroom garland. For this project, all you need is some paper, a marker, tape, and either a paper trimmer or some scissors. I just used regular 8.5 by 11 inch paper for this. So first we're going to need to make our paper into a square. I folded my paper in half, then cut along the fold with my paper trimmer. As I say in every one of these paper craft videos, if you don't have one of these, I highly recommend them, but normal scissors will work fine too. Take 1/2 of your paper and fold one of the corners up to meet the edge like this. Then trim off the excess. This will create our square. Rotate your square like this so the fold line's going down the middle. Then fold each edge of the square in to meet the center line like this. Flip your paper over to the back, then fold this little triangle piece up like this. Flip it back to the front like this, so that you have the folds from earlier facing you. Fold the triangle down like this, creasing it at about the halfway point of that back triangle. Next, fold these two sections down like this. I feel like sometimes these steps are kind of hard to explain, but hopefully you can kind of see what I'm doing. Now we're going to unfold that section and squish the paper in to meet the middle line like this. Again, not the easiest to explain, but hopefully you can just see what I'm doing in the video and copy that. Then go ahead and repeat that on the other side. Next, bring this point at the bottom up like this to finish the stem of the mushroom. To finish the mushroom cap, just fold in all of the pointed parts at the top like this. And when you flip it over, you'll have this cute little paper mushroom. This next part's optional, but I decided to tape down a few parts on the back of my paper mushroom so that it would stay flat. You can decorate your mushroom however you'd like. I just used a brown Crayola super tip marker to draw a few circles on the mushroom cap, and colored the rest of it in. I drew a few lines on the part underneath that, and outlined the bottom edge to give my mushroom more dimension. You can use these for all sorts of projects. I decided to turn my mushrooms into a garland. I just flipped my mushrooms over to the back and used some duct tape to stick them to a piece of ribbon. I left a little bit of space in between each mushroom, and here's how my finished project turned out. I really like this because to me, this is one of those things that kind of looks like fall related, but it's not like super obvious Halloween or Thanksgiving themed. Comment down below, do you like eating mushrooms? Because personally, I could never get into them. They are just too slimy for me, but my sister really likes them. The next project that I made was this wreath made out of paper leaves. For this project, you'll need some paper in the color of your choice. If you don't have colored paper, you could always paint a few sheets of printer paper too. You'll also need some cardboard, bowls or something circular to trace, scissors, a utility knife, a hot glue gun, and some ribbon. Okay, so step 1 is to make the leaves. First, I took an 8.5 by 11 inch piece of cardstock and folded it in half. Each piece of paper will make you 2 leaves. I cut that down the middle, so now I had 2 pieces of paper. Take one of these pieces and fold it in half like this. Then use a pencil to sketch out a leaf shape that looks something like this. You don't have to make it exactly like mine. Definitely feel free to experiment with this part. Just make sure that your fold is on the inside like this. Now go ahead and cut that out. Open it up, then fold your paper with an accordion fold like this. Again, this really doesn't have to be exact, but I tried to make my folds about 1/4 inch each. Once you folded everything up, take that longer edge and fold it in half like this. Add some hot glue to the middle to secure it, and now you have your first leaf. I ended up adding a little bit of extra glue in between some of the folds at the bottom to kind of scrunch them up a little bit more. Repeat this process as many times as you'd like. I ended up making 15 leaves altogether. Like I said, you can use any type of paper for this. And if you want your leaves to be smaller, just start out with a smaller sheet of paper. I made the base of the wreath using some recycled cardboard. I just found a bowl that was about the size that I wanted my wreath to be, and traced around it. Then I found a smaller bowl and traced around that to create the basic wreath shape. I cut the outside with scissors, but it might be easier to cut the inner circle with a knife if you have one. If you don't, no worries, it just might take you an extra minute. After you cut out your wreath form, go ahead and start gluing the leaves on. There is really no right or wrong way to do this. You can put the leaves closer together, further apart, whatever you think looks good. I just added a bunch of hot glue to the bottom of each leaf before gluing them on. I thought my wreath still needed a little bit of something extra, so I used some of the paper scraps from my last project to make a couple mini origami mushrooms to slip in there. I wasn't 100% sure about these, so I didn't glue them on, but I kind of like them. To hang the wreath, cut a piece of ribbon that's about 6 inches long, and glue that to the back. Fold the ribbon in half to create a loop, adding more hot glue to secure it. trim off any excess, and if you want, you can also add a piece of duct tape like I did to make sure that your hanger is extra secure. And after all that, here's how my finished wreath turned out. I've honestly never been a huge wreath person, but I think this one's pretty cute. The only thing is, it might have looked better with a couple more leaves on there, but I still kind of like it. The last project that I made this week were these candy corn beads. For this project, you'll need paper. Again, I just used regular 8.5 by 11 printer paper, a ruler, a pencil, scissors or a paper trimmer, a toothpick, a glue stick, and some acrylic paint. Okay, so first we're going to need to make a few marks on the long side of the paper. Make a mark that's 1/2 inch away from the edge. Repeat this on the other side, and connect these 2 marks. Then make another mark that's 1 inch inside the section that we just drew. Place your ruler diagonally going from this 1 inch mark to the upper right corner of your paper, and draw a line. Go ahead and cut that out, saving the top section so you have a piece of paper that looks like this. Take this piece of paper and wrap it around a toothpick like this, starting with the wider end of the paper. I like adding a little bit of glue to the widest part of the paper to help it stay in place. Just keep rolling up your paper, then add a little bit more glue once you get to the end. Then go ahead and shape the bead with your fingers if you need to create a cone shape. Next, cover your bead with a coat of white paint. This will sort of help your bead to hold its shape. It might even be good to do 2 coats to make sure that you don't miss any spots. I stuck my beads in this random piece of foam that I had while they dried. To make them look like candy corn, I painted a small stripe of yellow paint at the widest part of the cone, making sure to get the bottom as well. I let that dry, then painted a stripe of orange paint for the middle of the candy corn. And after all the paint dried, I covered my beads with a layer of UV resin. This part's optional. If you don't have resin, you could also use clear nail polish. If you have like a gel top coat, that would work especially well. Or you could use something like Mod Podge or clear spray paint. I like using resin because it'll make your beads water resistant. I just painted that on there with an old paintbrush and cured it under my UV lamp. These beads were actually pretty easy to remove from the toothpicks. I was mostly able to just slide them right off there. But if you have any trouble, you can use pliers to help you. I added a little bit more resin to the top and bottom of each hole, cured it one last time, and here's how my finished beads turned out. I've used this same process for pretty much all the paper jewelry that I've made. I made these ghost shape earrings with my cricket last year, these mushroom beads back in January, these paper star earrings, this heart necklace, some heart studs. There's surprisingly quite a few ways to make jewelry out of paper. I turned the candy corn beads into earrings by cutting a small piece of 22 gauge wire and bending it into a loop to create an eye pin. I like to twist the extra wire around the base of the loop to make sure that it's secure. I cut that down to fit inside my bead and attached it with some more UV resin. I found these earring findings at Hobby Lobby. I thought these were pretty cool because they're basically studs with a loop that you can hang things from. So I just used a jump ring to attach my bead to my earring base. And here's how my finished earrings turned out. You can also use the fishhook style earrings for these, or you can make studs with polymer clay like I showed in another video. I used the rest of the beads to make a bracelet. I taped a piece of 0.5mm elastic cord to my table, then started stringing on my beads. I added a gold bead in between each candy corn bead. I placed the beads in this sort of alternating pattern so that they weren't all facing the same direction. For some reason that just looked better to me. To finish the bracelet, I tied the string into a triple knot, cut off the excess, and sealed the knot with some UV resin so that it wouldn't come undone. And here's how my finished bracelet turned out. I love this. I think this is so cute for fall. Comment down below, do you like candy corn? Because personally, I don't hate it. I mean, it's fine, I guess, but, I wouldn't sit here and eat it either. So that was everything for today's video. Make sure to let me know which project was your favorite. I think mine was either the wreath or the candy corn bracelet. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more videos just like this one. My merch, my website, and all of my social media will be linked down below. I love you guys so much, and I will see you guys later. Bye!